Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this comes from the New York Times. I just subscribed. They like you to subscribe to their newspaper. I found this interesting. I'm not going to play the video, even though I would like to. It's a movie review, a Venn diagram of love and its mutations. Paul Haggis narrates a sequence from third person with Adrian Brody and Moran Atlas by Maria Marin, Sony Pictures Classics. Third person, directed by Paul Haggis, drama romance. Article by Stephen Holden, June 19th, 2014. In Paul Haggis' film Third Person, Liam Neeson plays Michael, a Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist who has lost his creative mojo and is holed up in a Paris hotel, completing his latest opus. Accompanying him, but staying in a separate suite, is his girlfriend, Anna Olivia Wilde, a wacko celebrity journalist who has literary pretensions that Michael is quick to shoot down. They go at each other with the merciless cruelty of two egotists whose only harmonious moments are bouts of frantic sex. Look who else is starring. Mila Kunis in Third Person. Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher. Their story is one of three that run parallel, bump elbows, and at the very end, unconvincingly intersect in the manner of the multiple narratives of Crash. Mr. Haggis' Oscar-winning movie Third Person was filmed predominantly on sets at the Cinecittà Studios in Rome, with that city effectively standing in for Paris and New York as the film jumps from place to place. A second strand focuses on Julia, Mila Kunis, a former soap opera star and the hyper-agitated ex-wife of Rick, James Franco. You guys seeing the connections here? Successful painter and impatient lawyer, Teresa Maria Bello, is helping Julia fight for legal visitation rights to see her young son. That's interesting. Whom Rick claims Julia put in harm's way. A scatterbrained mess who is short of cash and always on the verge of a meltdown, Julia is forced to take a job as a hotel chambermaid. Rick is a cold, vindictive narcissist whose anger at her stems partly from guilt over his own neglectful parenting. The third plotline concentrates on Scott Adrian Brody, a weaselly corporate spy in Paris, visiting the city to steal fashions for cheap copies to be rushed into the marketplace. He meets his match in treachery at a place called the Bar Americano, where he puts the moves on Monica, Moran Atlas, a beautiful, haughty Roma woman to whom he impulsively gives money after she tells him that her 8-year-old daughter is being held for ransom on a boat, or at least that's what she says. Once Scott becomes involved, the ransom price escalates. The movie, which runs an interminable 137 minutes, is nothing if not ambitious. Mr. Haggis has cited Michelangelo Antonioni's Blow Up as an inspiration. Third person is so meticulously acted by the ensemble that you are almost seduced into believing that its parts add up to a grand overview of the human condition, especially as it relates to love. But they don't, because the main characters are shallow, selfish nincompoops, and there is no love in sight, just its absence, as these mutually suspicious go-getters jockey for advantage. James Franco and Loan Chabanol. It's hard to pinpoint the moment when that sinking feeling sets in and you realize that these stories aren't going anywhere in particular and that no ideas will be voiced beyond pseudo-poetic, wince-inducing statements like, white is the color of trust. It is the color of belief. The storytelling is infuriatingly coy, as if Mr. Haggis were trying to fool you and himself into thinking that he has something to say. Third person finds Mr. Haggis, like Mr. Neeson's screen alter ego, running on empty. Third person is rated R under 17, requires accompanying parent or adult guardian for nudity, sexual situations, and some strong language. Director Paul Haggis, writer Paul Haggis, stars Liam Neeson, Mila Kunis, Adrian Brody, Olivia Wilde, Mario Bello. So the reason I brought this up is I just found it interesting that Paul Haggis was found guilty of a woman whom was, I believe she was a publicist. And just to go read about it, I don't remember all the details. And he was supposed to pay $10 million. I personally think that's why he left Scientology, but, I don't know for sure. And then you've got, they don't have him listed. Hold on. You've got James Franco, who settled with two different alleged victims of his acting school, in which the women, in order to get the acting roles, they were somewhat forced to do extreme nudity scenes as well as SORGY. I personally think whatever was videoed was sold. So he found his victims. I like the word survivor. He's actually an attractive guy, so it's extremely sad they have to be like this. But Paul Haggis also, after he was found guilty, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he's teaching acting classes, I think in Italy, I believe. And a lot of the victims or victim, I can't think of her name right now, was upset that she was not getting payments for the settlement. But I just found that interesting. And then Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher, and Ashton Kutcher is a big friend of Danny Masterson. So it was just interesting to see the connections there. That's all. So I will leave a link in the description box. You might have to pay for a subscription. Maybe New York Times will let you read 1 or 2 articles. It's pretty reasonable. And anyhow, have a good day or good night wherever you are. And like and subscribe if you choose. Peace.